are in Idaho on I-84, and you can go 80 miles an hour on this freeway, which little Paco is not going to go that fast because Paco's in it for the marathon, not for the race, for the sprint. It was really something, I guess, just ending my 10-year chapter in Oregon. I had to reflect, driving through the Great Basin was really, really have service for like 2 hours, or I would have done a live stream. It's just so beautiful there. And, I had to reflect. I had driven that Highway 20 East, like all the way to the border of Idaho, probably about 6 times since I've been there. And I just love the big sky. And there's something so special about East Oregon. I remember going through it for the very first time and seeing cowboys, like real cowboys with cowboy hats on, chaps, and riding on their horses. And I've been through cattle drives through East Oregon, and it's just amazing, That's such a unique culture that I hadn't experienced. I mean, growing up on a dairy farm is a totally different culture, even though a lot of the principles are the same, and you're working with animals and cows and maybe horses, both. But it's just a very wild, rugged way of life, and I really love it. So that was one thing I really loved about Central Oregon and East Oregon particularly. So leaving Oregon behind, gosh, it was just passing that, you're leaving Oregon sign was just like I'm leaving. So sorry. I move around a lot. So I've been in Oregon 10 years. I went there to do acupuncture, and I explored that state inside and out. Little Paco and I used to ride all through Oregon. Every weekend I would pick a new place on the map, and I would go to like one corner of the state, and it was so cool to be able to do that in this little tiny car that's just not a 4-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive, just this little front-wheel drive. And I remember, I guess being naive is kind of, oh, hi folks, thanks for joining. I'm in Idaho, I'm going across the country. This is, I made a little sign, I gotta make it more colorful, but it is Paco and Sarita's Ride Across America. So I just left my state of Oregon, where I've been 10 years. And like I said, I wish I could have documented that part of it live because it's so beautiful, but I didn't have service for 2 hours. I mean, that's how remote East Oregon is. And I used to just drive like without a care in the world to every corner of Oregon. And I remember one of my coworkers, Gwen, said, Sarah, I'm really worried about you going 6 hours out there by yourself in the middle of nowhere with you don't have a gun. There's lots of things that can get you nuts, people or animals. And I said, I'll send smoke signals, don't worry. And I made it an adventure. When I lived in South America, it wasn't that long ago, because I had lived in South America, I lived in Colombia, then I lived in Brazil, and then I lived in Miami, and I came out to Miami, to Oregon. And I moved to Bend, Oregon, sight unseen. I had never heard of Bend. I had never been to Oregon. I just wanted to live west. And I used to meditate every single day that I wanted to leave Miami. I wanted to live out west. I didn't care where it was. I wanted to get a good job doing what I love because I was finishing acupuncture school. I wanted to help a lot of people. I wanted to learn and grow, and I wanted to experience the West, and I wanted to make a decent living, and all of those things came true. So I meditated on that twice a day. Someone's birthday? You want me to sing happy birthday to you? I can do that. I can't read all this while I'm driving, but I'll sing happy birthday. If you stay tuned, I'll do it in a second. I'm not the greatest singer, but happy birthday to you. If I can read your name on here. What's your name, birthday girl or birthday boy? So anyway, yeah, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, A Little Bit of Magic, that'd be great. We're documenting the journey across America, but I used to go out all over the corners of Oregon in this little car, Paco, and it was just such an adventure. And when I lived in South America, I would backpack around South America alone. You know, I even hitchhiked 500 miles across South America. So I developed a very adventurous spirit, and it never really went away after I went through that. So when I first moved to Oregon, I would pick a place on the map, and on the weekend I would just go, and I would ride in this little car and pack it up and go by myself. And I pretended like I was still a traveler, you know, that I was still living in South America, so to speak, like I used to do. And it was fun, and I have explored Oregon inside and out, and really the outdoors. It's an outdoor mecca, it's an outdoor playground, and I loved it. But what I missed was cultural diversity that doesn't exist in Bend, Oregon. Not a lot anyway. So I was so used to having that in my life that it was like, you know, I was a bilingual teacher for many years. I lived overseas. I lived in Miami. You know, I was always the minority for many years. And so to go to Bend and like not have access to other cultures and languages was really hard. But what I did appreciate was the love for the outdoors. And I've always loved the outdoors, but to have such access to it and to really immerse myself in cultures. And from Bend, you can go to a different place a different climate, there's a lot of ecological diversity, let's say. You go an hour in any direction and you're in a different climate. So that was something very special. And I grew my practice there. I was a little baby acupuncturist, and then I got my doctorate there. I did multiple certifications, and I developed a strong practice and skills. And that's what I had always hoped for. You know, when you have your second career, you have to work a little harder. I felt like I had to work faster, and I just threw myself into it. And I was surrounded by wonderful acupuncturists that showed me the way, like Janelle Bartow, and she still is a mentor to me. So, you know, it's bittersweet leaving now and being there 10 years and growing so much. I don't remember, the only time I've lived a place for 10 years was when I was growing up in Minnesota and Wisconsin. So that is something you know, that it's just, any transition's bittersweet, right? When you leave something behind. So I'm starting out on this new journey, just saying goodbye to Oregon. Now I'm in Idaho. You can see it's definitely not as picturesque as Oregon right now. I'm headed towards Boise. So my girlfriend left for this really gym guy, and I can't stop looking at iPhotos of him. He's okay. Sorry about that. Well, someone asked me to sing happy birthday. Are you still there? If you are, please give me a sign, or I'm going to have to hold the song. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. I'm going to sign off for now. I think the birthday girl or the birthday boy is gone. We'll do this again. Any questions for me? It's been fun. Thanks for checking in. All right, everybody. I'll keep you posted. So I guess this chapter is just ending Oregon, and I just left Oregon. I got up at 2:30 in the morning because I couldn't sleep. I swear to God, my house was haunted. You know, they say that sometimes when you leave a place or you come into a new place, that's when like it activates ghost or spirit energy. And I heard banging and clanking and clacking like I had never heard it. I could not even sleep. It was so noisy in my house. And then I felt like there was someone breathing on me last night, like a woman's breath. And I kept telling myself, that is in your head, you know, but it happened multiple times. And I'm just thinking, man, did I wake the spirits on my way out as I was moving all day yesterday? So, and then just the anxious energy, you know, and I just was so excited to get on the road, and here I go. But, thank you. Okay, we'll check in again.